to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Hail, hail, hail this land of glory. We the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise the soul of Savior who granted us the freedom. And let the soul the hero who brought the land with Yahweh. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with light and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Hail, hail, hail this land of glory. We the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise the soul of Savior who granted us the freedom. And let the soul the hero who brought the land with Yahweh. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with light and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Fellow countrymen, my beloved people of Meza, Abene, Jolane, Manu, Awio, Ichina, Momo, Asaye, Kupe Mwanenguba, Lentenye, Ndian, Basese, Babugwai, Fako, Elelagwamu, Bui, Asakai, Ngoketunja, Libialem, Boyo, Menchum, Ndonga Mantung Meme, and to you all the wonderful people of Ambazonia at home and abroad, today I bring you love from the castle of my heart, energy from the comfort of the bosom of the great God of Ambazonia, the God of justice. With pride, I can affirm that our spirit is strong, our resolve is unshakable, and the fervency of our resistance is applaudable. Never ever accept anyone, any day, to tell you anything else. In just a few months, we have traveled this far, cracking hard bricks, surpassing tall mountains, demystifying the complicated faculty of understanding our true story, and step by step, we have made Ambazonia a rising star. Oh yes, we may not be where we would have loved to be right now, but we are certain this is not where we used to be. Hence, it is our duty to stir our hope, fan to fire our enthusiasm, and boost our energy by systematically measuring our progress. What we believe in makes the difference to the actions that we take to free Ambazonia. If we can believe to the core of our being, the depth of our hearts, that we will win this fight to protect our nation, our women and our children, then we will take actions to make that belief to become a reality. It will be dangerous to believe otherwise. If you believe that all is lost, that your actions will not make a difference, that your voice is sunk in fear, then you have just decided to lose the fight. No, no, no. Failure is not an option. We have not failed. We cannot fail, and we will not fail. When we say this is the people's revolution, it is not a lip service. We need each other to free Ambazonia. We need each other to rebuild our nation. We need each other to mourn our fallen heroes. We need each other to support our restoration forces. We need each other to defend our women and our children. We need each one of us to celebrate our victory. You are the VIAs, very important Ambazonians. We have tackled each battle with a different momentum. Sometimes we had low scores, but most of the times we were at the top of our game. Every battle we encountered came with its own lessons. Regardless of how challenging they seem to have been, we came out stronger, wiser, and better. It is therefore imperative for us to unsubscribe from every negative energy, blame games, unhealthy debates, blackmail, sabotage, and subscribe to the positive lessons we learned so far. We have to maximize our strength and as a people stand with one voice and roar with the sound of victory. Almost 6 decades of gross evil, 6 decades of colonial subjugation of our land and our dignity defiled. The oppressor now calls us by our name. We have succeeded in uncovering the truth about who we are, inspired the youth, and gained fruits. We are officially observing our first commemoration of our restored independence, as was courageously declared by His Excellency Sisiko Ayoktabe Julius this day, this time last year. This is a sacred day of our history as we all go out in our various communities in our awesome national colors, expressing in convenient ways the rich story and the rich diversity of our culture, and tell the uniqueness of our originality, even as we all bear in mind that this is a major opportunity to demonstrate patriotism, nurture brotherliness amongst ourselves, and sponsor the internationalization machinery of our cause. My dear countrymen, before being your acting president, I have been an active servant of this revolution. I have been a fervent student of the rapid evolution of this revolution. This liberation war for our nation, as Grandpa Paul Biya rightly calls it, for many of us is a vocation. We have been through different phases. Thousands of people have sacrificed their lives, and youth spending an important part of their lives behind bars. Today, I would love you all to join me as I pay respect and homage to those who have laid down their lives because of our cause to actualize our independence. I also pay my respect to thousands of citizens of our nation running into the war, into the far equatorial forests for their lives. The refugees in Nigeria, Ghana, and other nations of the world. I salute the sacrifices and commitment of 2 million refugees and asylees settled in other nations now, officially banned from entering French Cameroon. This occasion of our independence commemoration should be a time when we take a solemn pledge of devoting our might to push forward the train, work for the welfare of our oppressed people, and to enable sustenance for our brave resistance on ground zero, putting all our lives on the line for our freedom. People of Ambazonia, this is a period to refine and rebuild our national character, our diversity and extreme wealth of excellence acquired from all different nations in the world, in different domains, should inspire us to be better leaders and nation builders, to dedicate ourselves to the nation and our every activity linked to our collective interests. We must be willing to pause and redress any move that does not inspire our cause or give a clear approach to lead us to victory. This is the mindset we must encourage. We want to gain our freedom and to build our nation on the honesty and genuineness of our untainted cultural beliefs. We want a nation built by our dedicated men and women and not by politicians. If we as a people have arrived here today, it is because of the collective efforts of our teachers and lawyers, our youth and our brave fighters. These great people and this great generation deserves our deepest respect. Brothers and sisters, today, if we have attained such heights, it is because of the laudable inputs of every one of you. I wish to express my sincere feelings of respect and gratitude to every single Ambazonian. We must appreciate every patriotic gesture if we want to build a great nation and categorically stand against the politics of egotism. Our victory will be made easier by collectivism and not cynicism. We wholeheartedly look forward to building a nation on the foundation of our ancient cultural heritage, where black imagination can have a safe field, a nation which Africans can reference and look up to for the preservation of our rich values of enterprise, love, and tolerance. We do not want to build an economy that is a copycat of another, but hopefully a refined semblance of our wealth of discoveries to institute a reference society and an emerging free enterprise economy capable of confronting global competition. We want to build a society, a socio-politically and economically sustainable amber that doesn't transfer or guarantee misery to her generations to come. A nation that encourages equal opportunity for every Ambalander. This is our Ambazonian dream. Fellow Ambazonians, the actualization of the restoration of our independence and the rapid construction and reconstruction of the reference nation we seek and dream of for Africa is our great task ahead. We will need every single individual to contribute in building this nation. We have gone through so much pain, so much humiliation, so much misery to permit any stumbling block on our way. Blacklegs and spoilers should take special note. This is our nation. We have the duty to take it back now and build it. We cannot ignore where we are coming from, what we are currently experiencing, and how logical we intend to prosecute this cause with sanity. We are the true members of the Gentleman Club. No one should be an obstacle to our cause. As individuals or as groups, we should be humble enough to question the impression we make when our people read through the lines of the history we are writing at this time. What do you want to be remembered for? That notwithstanding, this interim government has always believed in collaboration and will continue in the hope for true fraternity with all genuine stakeholders of our revolution. Henceforth, collaboration will be that of the willing. This interim government is open to consider collaboration with any individual or group that will unconditionally recognize the interim government as the people's government, as the head of this revolution, and support our restoration vision and agenda. Do not worry about the few social media spoilers instigating nuisance within our revolution. But the righteous many must stand up really strong to affirm our determination to cross the finish line, dead, wounded, or alive. We must not give in to cowardice and intimidation. I want to seize this opportunity to congratulate my friend and brother, Comrade Dr. Ebenezer Akwanga, for his overwhelming display of patriotism in his quest to let the revolution succeed. Some don't care if this revolution fails to succeed, but they are determined to succeed through our revolution. We will not tolerate the failed ideology of the past, where governments have been created and destroyed because of the absence of mutual respect, the emptiness of purpose, and the blindness of vision. From this day onward, we will not waste our resources and time in pampering anti-revolutionaries or insider enemies of our God-ordained revolution. No, not now. Not at a time when our nation bleeds. Not at a time when our nation cries. The agony is ravaging and tears of blood flow so fast like a Mongo River. In spite of these dark days, I still feel blessed by the sparkles of light emitted from our brave forces on Ground Zero, courageously charting the course, paving the way, and inscripting our story in the hard books of history with their own very blood. Every day, I watch the blood spilled and tears of our people flow. My soul is heavy, but again, my spirit is strong. We have watched our mothers digging graves to bury their sons, our wives carrying coffins of their own husbands, our fathers watching in humiliation, their daughters raped and treated with no dignity. It is based on these sad realities that we are strategically positioning ourselves for the recovery of the sovereignty of our homeland. Going forward, we will embrace any effort that promotes the secure escalation of our ground game, the aggressive diplomacy we need, sustainable public and international relations. In our ground game apparatus, we will move from the level of maintenance of the struggle to actually pushing the unprofessional colonial forces east of the Mongol. The honest truth is that we have only been doing maintenance of our resistance so far, which has constituted a deterrent that in many cases has saved us from the loss of some of our people and properties to a large extent. The bits of our investment so far have been to enable our people to survive in resisting the enemy, and while planning and strategizing for a better way forward. I want to say here and now that I am more than committed to ensuring that we make this a reality in the shortest time possible. Even though we have recorded some painful losses, here is where we have recorded our first victory. We have outrightly denied the enemy, La République du Cameroon, the colonizer, any route to victory through war. Mr. Biya and his cohorts thought that after their obvious intimidation, declaring war on our people on the 30th of November last year, we were going to wingle out like the generations past. No, no more. This time around, we, the do-all generation, have stood our grounds, and for the first time in our history, we have spoken boldly, clearly, and loudly that we, the people of Southern Cameroons, are ready to go. I wish to reiterate that our independence has been restored, and we shall defend it with all our hearts and with all our might and with all our strength. Be it known that every Ambazonian of any political extraction must pay a compulsory peace levy of at least $1 a day. Those individuals and families who refuse to participate in this effort to secure our borders shall be shamed, rejected, or even penalized by their local government authorities. The next phase will be to get the occupiers to submission. We have to bring them down to their knees, to surrender. Do not be deceived by the consistent deployment of French Cameroon terrorist troops in our land. Those are mere gestures of a dying horse. French Cameroon has never recorded such resistance in their history. Believe you me, one of these days we will bundle them out and completely destroy the few traces of their roots in our land. Yes. And that will be sooner than later. On the vital aspect of aggressive and targeted diplomacy, fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, 1 year after the declaration of our independence restoration, the progress we have made is eminent. The victory is real. We have hit real strides and made great friends as we labor day and night, lobbying for genuine partners. The firm negotiations ongoing like never before I am more than confident in the future of our nation. At this juncture, I would love to make this announcement. Our nation, the Southern Cameroons, has been officially invited by the 4th Committee of the United Nations concerned with decolonization. We will be presenting our case in New York before this committee in a few days' time. In the weeks ahead, we are hoping to start real interactions right in the nucleus of friendly nations. Right now, we have already concluded arrangements with Kurdistan for an international soccer-friendly match between our two nations. I therefore urge all our youths involved with professional football to get ready and contact the Office of Public Relations at the Presidency. We are already setting up a structure in this regard. We expect all our talents like Eno Ayon, Clinton J, Fai, and Ebai Tato, and a host of others to step forward and consider working with my office to ensure this initiative comes to fruition. The date of this very important soccer game will be announced very soon. We are looking forward to inviting FIFA officials to be a part of this friendly encounter. I wish therefore to seize this opportunity to advise the Confederation of African Football. We want you to cancel any football competition in our national territory without the consent and approval of our interim government. We are an oppressed people, merely struggling to defend ourselves from Mr. Biya's monstrosity, and we cannot advise the precious organizers of this major African tournament, the proposed CAF AFCON 2019 soccer tournament, to ignore a risk of such magnitude. We urge CAF to consider or reconsider by withdrawing any decision they made earlier. Cameroon is at war, and this is no child's play. People of Ambazonia, as we proudly and cautiously walk into this new phase of our revolution, it is incumbent upon us to minimize petty things and project ourselves for the great future close to us. Your interim government, in her wish to galvanize strength from within, will seek to unite all the forces that are working tirelessly on the side of our people. We will patronize the resistance that so far has a sterling and impeccable record, and we are confident that securing my county, local government by local government, will appropriately ensure this. As far as financial arrangement or management is concerned, we are going to transform the treasury of the interim government. It will henceforth serve as the people's treasury, a finance ministry for all those who recognize our mandate as the leaders of the Ambazonian people. We will sponsor their projects, even if they are not interim government projects, as long as they aim at taking us to Ambazonia. With this desire, we will create a register of people who will be accredited by the government. We seek to partner largely with civil society, for that is the best way to build peace and strength within a healthy and economically vibrant society, a strong Ambazonia we are looking forward to. Finally, we want our youth and our women to pick up the challenge and to demonstrate real leadership, a leadership of pure service to our people and not power mongering. History will not forget all our living heroes for their remarkable bravery that they have shown and demonstrated during their years as leaders. History will never forget Comrade Tassa, Mancho Bibixi, Fontem Niba, and a dozen of others for rejecting the bribes from the table of the colonizer. My question to you today, as a youth, what will history write home about your offers? Seize this day off to examine your contributions and challenge yourselves to be on the honorable side of history, like those who are in the trenches. Join the patriotic fight, and with every energy left inside you, we will back you up, we will promote you, and we will finance your independent initiatives within the law. My people, there's hope. In the midst of the darkest cloud, our lights have the tendency to shine brighter. Thank you for being true warriors of Ambazonia. Long live Ambaland. Short live the war. God bless you. And may God bless the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
Glory, we the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise the soul our Savior who granted us our freedom. And legends to the hero who called the lonely Diablo. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in our nation, flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall hear it meet in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall hear it meet in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Fellow Ambazonians, on this day, 1st of October last year 2017, millions of us poured out on the streets of our country, Ambazonia, to listen to our President, Sisiko Julius Ayoktabe, make a formal declaration of the restoration of our independence. On that day, we went out carrying with us fresh-cut tree branches symbolizing peace. In spite of that peaceful move, French Cameroon unleashed on us and on our own streets some of the worst acts of terror that we have witnessed since they declared war on us. Today, October 1st, 2018, makes it exactly 1 year since that restoration event. And though they have tried with the military might and machine that they have, and by all other means possible, to break our resolve, to discourage us to give up, to force us to run back to them waving the white flag of surrender, we have held our ground and remained resilient more than ever before. We are still standing and we still have sole custody of that idea, the idea of a totally free and independent Southern Cameroons, or call it the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. The message that the world that is still crawling to come to our help, and French Cameroon in particular ought to be learning from this resilience, is that no matter the size of an army, no matter the size of artillery that army has, no matter how rich the country and no matter how influential and the number of alliances that country may have, all combined cannot beat the idea of the freedom of a people. Fellow Ambazonians, it was this idea, the idea of freedom, that propelled America to shake off the yoke of British imperialism and domination. It was the same idea that led South Africans to for years resist the yoke of apartheid. It is the same idea that gave Eritrea and the Southern Sudanese their own countries and their own freedoms. For us, we are on the journey. We are getting there, and we must get there. The road ahead may not be easy, but tough as it may look. We are reminded that without trials, there can be no triumph. Without battles, there are no treaties. After we have fought, overcome, and conquered, it is only then we can look forward to that final round or square table on which we formally reclaim our sovereignty as a people and as a nation. And by God's grace, we certainly will make it. God has taken us this far. He will not now see us crumble. God has the final say in this matter. We thank Him for the grace, the bravery, the courage, and resilience of all Ambazonian restoration forces who have sacrificed their lives and families to take up residences in caves and bushes of Ambazonia to fight and to defend this idea of a free and independent Southern Cameroons. The restoration forces are the reason we are still standing and dreaming. They are the fearless and most audacious ones amongst us. We owe them everything now and even after this war is fought and won. If you can pray, please keep them in your prayers. Pray that God will protect them. Pray that the giant enemy soldiers will turn into grasshoppers before our restoration forces. Pray also that God should shield them with the blood of His Son, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Pray that their bullets shall go out in one direction but end up in 7 other destinations. Pray above all that their sacrifice and the sacrifice of all who have died, do not end up in vain. Fellow Ambazonians, Though we left them exactly 1 year ago today, October the 1st, 2018, we are faced with one of their grandstanding scheme threat, the attempt at recolonization, this time through an election that they seek to forcefully impose upon us. By this time on Sunday, October 7, they expect us to be marching to the polls, as has been the fashion for 57 years that they rule over us, to participate in an election for a country in which we, the people of Ambazonia, have never been represented. Your interim government has since made it unequivocally and categorically clear that French Cameroon cannot and will not be allowed to conduct their presidential elections in our country. Cameroon isn't a country, and Paul Biya isn't our president. They certainly are still living in the illusion that we are still one Cameroon. No, that is not true. The southern Cameroon is long gone. The southern Cameroon is a sovereign state, a sovereign country. We have internationally recognized borders and boundaries. We have a language and a culture that is different from theirs. Our way of life is also different from theirs. Let it be known that elections, or no elections, our total freedom and total independence cannot be negotiated. We shall not be waiting on the United Nations or any other organization to give us our independence. We are not waiting until we get to some conference table to sign that independence either. We have taken it. We took it on this same day, October 1st, last year. I say this to say that this interim government will consider any attempts by French Cameroon to host any polling stations or elections in our territory as further acts of infiltration, provocations, and hostility. We will be forced to defend ourselves of that aggression as we have done in the past 1 year. Election observers have been warned to stay out of Ambazonian territory, for we shall not be held responsible for anything that happens to anyone who wants to aid and abet the fraudulent election, fellow Ambazonians. This sham of an election is very important both for us and for French Cameroon, because for once it will get to tell the rest of the world that we have control over our masses and over the geographical entity that is called the Southern Cameroons. For French Cameroon, it will once and for all establish the fact that they have lost authority and political leverage over us as a people and our territory. Fellow Ambazonians, the world is watching at us. The world is eager to see how we handle this occasion. It's a moment of test. We must pass this test to send a message to the rest of the world that we have indeed taken back our destiny, that we have indeed taken back control of our territory from French Cameroon. Everyone's actions this week leading up to the elections on Sunday are going to determine the urgency with the international community going forward handles our case. We must, all of us, work towards sending one message, and one message only. The message that we have long left French Cameroon and are not going to be accomplices in an election that is meant to recolonize, resubjugate, and enslave us. The interim government is therefore once more reminding every Ambazonian on ground zero that total shutdown starts today, Monday, October 1st, as previously announced. This shutdown period runs to October the 10th. During this 10-day period, we expect every form of business activity, including transportation services, to be totally grounded in our territory. No taxis are allowed on the streets and highways of Ambazonia. Any vehicles found on any of our streets or roads shall be considered enemy vehicles and shall be confronted with utmost alacrity. No motorbikes or Okada are allowed to circulate. Shops and offices shall remain totally locked down. Colonial governors, SDOs, DOs, and mayors' offices must completely shut down 24/7 and kept under monitor. Everyone is advised to stay home. The only movement allowed is that of health workers. That means doctors and nurses who must be on duty. The only vehicles that can move, and only within the city or town areas, are ambulance vehicles. No vehicles are allowed to enter our country from French Cameroon or leave the country to French Cameroon. Not even ambulance shall enter or leave Ambazonia from French Cameroon. Beginning today, Monday, October 1st, all church and mosque midweek services, including Friday for the Muslims and Sunday service on the 7th or Sunday the 7th for Christians, are suspended until the week following. That means churches shall remain locked down on Sunday, the day of their election. Gather your families and pray to God in the confines of your homes, if possible. Fellow countrymen and women, there are growing reports, and we have actually seen a press release circulating to this effect, that Paul Biya, French Cameroon dictator, may be visiting Buea between tomorrow, Tuesday, October the 2nd, and October the 5th. The interim government reminds the criminal and terrorist leader of French Cameroon that if he loves himself and his life, to avoid this provocation of entering our territory. Paul Biya is reminded that for the 26 years and counting that he has presided over the failed state that is Cameroon, he has never, not even once, come to campaign in the southern Cameroons. As such, in the heat of this conflict, we consider this visit unnecessary grandstanding and provocation of the highest order. Coming to campaign in our territory after we have long left his dictatorship is incitement against us. We have not forgotten that only 3 days ago he told a handful of listeners how he would deal with us after he fought and win this very election. We should not forget that the war he declared on us has our families living in the bushes, many more killed with reckless abandon by his soldiers, many arrested and hanging behind bars, and many living in refugee camps when they should be home. We like to seize on this opportunity to remind the criminal Paul Biya that if he must come to Buea in spite of all of the above, he must not land in Tico Airport or drive on the streets of our capital, Buea. a ghost army shall be waiting for him. Our restoration forces have been asked to stand by and to maintain security throughout this shutdown period. Bear in mind that they are out to protect and to defend you, not to hurt you. However, we are very much aware of the fact that French Cameroon troops are now disguising and dressing like regular civilians to kill those they consider suspects. If you refuse to abide by this stay-home order and get yourself out to be shot by French Cameroon soldiers or the restoration forces, you shall have yourself to blame. You are safer remaining home than putting yourself in harm's way, where a stray bullet can instantly take your life. ABC Television shall be bringing you daily updates on any developments. Do not take any instructions from anyone or group other than the interim government, the ASC, and of course through the ABC Television. Some of you are asking, what next after this election thing is over? The acting president, Dr. Sako, and myself shall be coming to you with those answers in the days ahead. Before I leave, I just want you to know that God is on our side in this war. We never asked for it. We can't stop it. Not until the blood of our brothers slaughtered in Boya, in Bafut, in Njikwa, Moyoka, Ekona, Chomba, Bello, among others, are redeemed. God bless you. God bless Ambazonia. We must live free or die fighting.